Okay, morning everyone. Welcome to the briefing on Saturday the 29th of April. Uh, this low pressure out in the Atlantic that I pointed out yesterday, it was just a swirl of fronts, seems to be sort of not moving really, but breaking up a bit, and the fronts are slowly crawling towards us. The rain that went through a couple of days ago is slowly disappearing off onto the continent. But it's going to generate a little series of low pressures, I think. The potential to go past us, and it actually appears that, looking at the forecast, they'll go across the Midlands, and then you can see this one here developing, which I think is potential for thunderstorms across the Midlands later in the day, though top meteo doesn't seem to be making too much of it, and neither is Skysight. But pressure's gone up a little bit since yesterday, stabilized out a little bit, but very slack area in here. There's just a general sort of southerly drift and a little bit of rotation around this tiny little low developing there. So one of the decisions on how we're going to set up, but I'll talk about that a bit later. In there at the moment, it's quite moist air. It'll take a little while to dry out and start to improve, a little bit like yesterday, really. The Farnborough TAF suggesting 0804 knots, so an easterly drift. Gatwick the same. Southampton obviously will be southerly, by the coast. The sea air will start to develop there fairly quickly, and Farnborough eventually getting few at 3,000 feet. Ties up with top meteo, visibility improving fairly quickly during the morning, and they will have had broken at 800 feet possibly. They are picking up a tempo between 12 and 15 showers and rain. I think that appears to be, from all the forecasts I've seen, more chance further north, or much further north, because Gatwick aren't picking anything up either. So yeah, if it is, it's going to be very, very isolated here. Upper winds down to the south of us, they're quite variable. Even at 25,000 feet, it's only 30, 35 knots. But in the middle of the country, really, it's a southerly drift. So I would suggest it's sort of coming around here and then going southerly. And not very strong, 5 to 10 knots. So fairly light winds at flying heights. There we go. There's that sort of rotation, and the bits of cloud you can see over us. This stuff here will break up fairly quickly. It's just trapped under an inversion, and you'll see that. Just up in the Midlands, it is heavy enough to give a little bit of rain coming out of it, but not much. That should disappear. I can't imagine that's going to swirl all the way around and come down to us. Temperature-wise, warmer than yesterday. It was pleasant enough yesterday. I think it'll be potentially up to sort of 17, 18 degrees. And I think there's a chance of 20, 21 tomorrow and Monday. So quite pleasant. But obviously with that, there's quite a lot of humidity at the moment, and dew points went down to about 5 degrees overnight. They're back at nearly 8. So I think at best you're going to have the dew points go down to about 6 today when it gets soarable. So that's a reasonable temperature split, but everywhere seems to be giving 3,000 feet-ish, and that's probably due to the soundings showing an inversion. I've put on here just the 9 o'clock one, just to show this little inversion here, and this is probably where the trapped cloud is that we can see just out to the west, and that'll break up fairly quickly, I think, as the morning goes on. So by mid-morning, lunchtime, 3,000 feet, but quite a lot of cloud, and tops probably up around the 5,500 to 6,000 feet mark. And in the afternoon, not really much different. They're showing an inversion up here, so I suspect there might be some more spread out as the afternoon goes on. But certainly 3,000 feet. And they're showing the dew point temperatures around about 7 degrees here. So could be a bit more than 3,000 feet. I don't think it's going to be spectacular, but it'll certainly be soarable and good for shortish cross country, I suspect. Top Meteo giving the same sort of thing. So cloud amounts showing sort of thicker cloud out to the west country, and roll that on till about lunchtime. It's turned into cumulus with areas of spread out, probably less cumulus around us by the looks of it, because I think we're slightly in the sort of higher temperature bracket right down in the southeast here. The most chance of getting to 17, 18 degrees. But in the afternoon, cumulus and spread out in various places. And then deteriorating probably around about 5 o'clock by the looks of it. No particular fronts or anything coming in to spoil it, so it should be flyable for the evening group. Thermal heights, probably not going to get going till midday or beyond by the looks of it. Same yesterday, didn't really get soarable till about 1 o'clock. That's 1 o'clock. They're saying 900 to 1,000 meters. And then by sort of 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they're actually showing around us 12 to 1,300 meters, so 3,500 to 4,000 feet above sea level, maybe. I think it's fairly optimistic. And it always looks a bit iffy in the West Country, but still soarable at 5 o'clock, hopefully, and then deteriorating after that. Suggested distance from Top Meteo. Nice over London, okay in East Anglia, probably okay over us out to the north and east. The best areas, and not very good in the west of England. So there you have the Top Meteo forecast. Sky Sight, interestingly, seem to agree with this on thermal heights. Sort of saying by 12:31 at 1 o'clock, thermal heights around Lasham 700 to 800 meters. By sort of mid-afternoon, getting up to 11, maybe in 1,200 meters, so just over 3,000 feet. And then okay in the afternoon up to the north, 1,300 meters, so 3,500 feet. And again, going on till 4 to 5 o'clock. So, yeah, should get something out of it today, folks. And certainly flyable all day. We'll get going fairly quickly. The visibility is going to be poor to start off with, but it should improve fairly rapidly. Airspace wise, ignore this big circle. That's just an amendment to the fly past next Saturday. Just a slight amendment on the timings. The rest, interestingly, unless this hasn't picked it up, there's the microlight fair at Popham today, tomorrow, and Monday. It is normally very busy. My best advice is don't land at Popham. If you get caught in that area, there are other options. Their record, I think, is 800 movements in a day. The circuit is absolutely rammed. They'll probably be on their northeast runway, and the circuits will be left hand, so it'll be very, very busy there. Other things that of note here, these are just radio transmissions and hang gliding, paragliding out around here. There's no real airspace until you get out to Gransden and beyond. Duxford have got an air display. Little Gransden have got a little bit of activity with various fly pass from the BBMF. up around here. So not really anything of consequence, particularly to worry about. More importantly, what we got going on at Lasham. We were supposed to have a jet movement at about early afternoon yesterday. Then it got put back to 4 o'clock, and then it got cancelled. And we knew we'd get it today. They were told not to file a flight plan before 10 o'clock, so they filed a flight plan at 10 o'clock. And the latest one I've seen is potentially it's going to be 11 o'clock, a departure of an A320. But you know, it could be like yesterday. It keeps getting moved. Who knows? Plan of attack today, folks. Operation will be 09. Launch point vehicle in the normal place. Gliders on the grass. I suspect as the day goes on, we'll have the cables coming on the grass, and on the south side of the gliders and aerotows off the northern edge of the runway. We'll set up. We're not going to wait for the jet movement. We'll set up. If you're not going to fly straight away, don't come and dump your glider on the runway, please. Only gliders that are going to be put on the launch queue and flown straight away. If you're not going to fly, leave your gliders in this area here and here. And either wait for it to get soarable or wait till the jet movement's done. And we'll keep you updated on that. The ground, it did rain quite heavily on Thursday, but it's dried out fairly quickly. Just down the edge here, it's probably a little bit soggy, so just stay out a little bit when you're towing out from the hangar. And same down here, it's soggy. Just on the edge of the Perry track. Apart from that, the airfield should be fine. It dries out fairly quickly at this time of year. Okay, folks, I think we need all the two-seaters out. They'll all be in use today. Got a fairly busy day with instructing and solo flying. So I'll see you out in the hangar fairly shortly.